if you don't work on your sales skills, because sales is a skill, sales is not something you're just like born with, go and do yourself a favor and get some sales training. No matter what you do, there are going to be people who are going to judge you. While you have the ability to influence and impact that opinion, it really doesn't matter. And I've actually got a live in-person event in Brisbane on the 7th and 8th of March that I'm going to talk about at the end that you are invited to. It is live, it is in person. There are only a couple of spots left at the time of this recording. So please reach out ASAP if you want to hear more about this. Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. Welcome. Today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about turning leads into clients on autopilot, saving several hours a week, and using forever funnels. But before we get into that, I wanted to speak to what I've been up to recently. So the last half week, I spent at a sales boot camp. Now, every time I guess speak about sales or talk about it, inevitably there's someone who thinks or will say to me or will put some like weird comment like when I went to the sales conference, I got this weird emoji from a really old client of mine that was just like a little crying emoji, like no context, no nothing, and I was talking about sales and selling, and she'd done it before, and so it was just very strange. But it got me thinking that I know a lot of people think that people learning sales are like, sleazy salespeople, or they're just trying to sell you things. And perhaps if you feel like sales is icky too, to be providing to someone else, I say providing because I feel like sales is the service, then it's likely because what you believe is sales is when people shove things down your throat that you don't want, or you're not interested in something, or it feels manipulative, or there's some sort of tactic involved to try and get you to do something you didn't normally or wouldn't normally do. And the reason I don't see it like that is because, like I said, I believe that sales is service, but I also see that it's my job as a business owner, as a CEO, as even an employee who works in whatever field you work in, to help people see the value that you can provide and bring. And if you know that your option is better than other potential options that they might be deliberating against or could choose between, then it's your damn job to make sure that they have all the information and make the right decision based on what's going to get them the best outcome. And if you don't work on your sales skills, because sales is a skill, sales is not something you're just like born with. Believe it or not, I was not great at sales. I did like 500 initial consults in my first year out of uni, and I just did the reps, and I learned really pretty hard and fast by getting slapped in the face a fair few times, what works and what doesn't. And actually on the weekend, Ryan Tuckwood, who was the coach who was doing this sales training, they're the leading sales organization in Australia. They've been on Shark Tank. They have 3 of the sharks from Shark Tank Australia invested in their company still to this day. He basically said that like sales is getting slapped in the face over and over again and getting back up. And it can feel like that early days. But what going to that sales boot camp taught me is that no matter what you do, there are going to be people who are going to judge you for it. And there are going to be people who are going to say things about you, and there are going to be people who have opinions about you. And while you have the ability to influence and impact that opinion, it really doesn't matter. Like, I actually don't care what this client from 5 years ago who doesn't work with us, doesn't have our service anymore, thinks about me going to a sales training, because I know that my heart is in the right place, and I know I'm doing this for reasons that are going to help benefit my clients and make sure that future clients actually see the value in our service. And so a little perspective shift for anyone who, or maybe reinforcing for those who think sales is a bit icky, or, sometimes they just don't feel like sales clicks for them. Go and do yourself a favor and get some sales training. Now, we have some inside our Biz Academy program. I'm not going to talk too much about that today, but whether it's that or whether it's with, Swish Sales Coaching, which is this Brian Tuckwood program that I did, or whoever, getting better at sales helps in so many areas of your life in terms of confidence, in terms of, creating partnerships even, and getting people bought in on what you do. And then obviously also purchasing your services so you can provide transformations. Uh, but let's talk about today's topic and kind of segues in because I was at this conference for 3 days and we had leads coming in and we had them going through our forever funnels on autopilot and I didn't lift a finger. The whole time I was there, I didn't look at my computer and I didn't open it for anything work related. I was just there and I was able to be there because I have these forever funnels in place. That's a little trademark as well. So Forever Funnels is something that I've coined, and it is basically um, something that you build once that you can use in your business forever. So the awesome thing about this is that not a lot of coaches do this, right? So you're already going to be a cut above if you implement even one thing from today's episode. But basically, a funnel is, you've probably seen like the upside down triangle when it comes to marketing, where there's like leads at the top and then down the bottom is like the dollars that pours out or the sales. And in between that are all the steps. So that is what we call a funnel. Everything from like someone who's like raised their hand and said like, hey, I want your thing, or like, here's my phone number or email, all the way through to like, I've paid you money. Okay. And there's so many different types of funnels that you can create. I'm going to talk about 4 today that I use in my business, and I'm actually start that again. And I've actually got a live in-person event in Brisbane on the 7th and 8th of March that I'm going to talk about at the end that you are invited to. It is live, it is in person. There are only a couple of spots left at the time of this recording. So please reach out ASAP if you want to hear more about this, because you may be able to get a chance to spend 2 full days in person with me and I can walk you through all of this if after this episode you're like, I need some help with this. I don't think I can do it on my own. But I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. So I had a lot of people who I initially reached out to, invitation only for the first round of invites. And they were like, what's a funnel, a workflow? You're talking about automations. Like, I'm a coach. I'm not in the techie side of things. So I kind of pride myself on being someone who has really dived into and learnt the tech quite a lot over the last 5-6 years and have begun to be able to transport that language into coach speak. So hopefully this makes sense to you today. So we talked about that funnel being the process from the lead to the sale. And then when we talk about like workflows or automations, these are typically going to be emails and SMS that happen as a result of either actions that someone takes in your business, or it could be based on time frames. So we're going to go through the first example of one of the forever funnels that we have, which is your lead to sales funnel. Now, depending on what you need in your business right now, would depend on which funnel you start with, but I think starting with the lead to sale makes most sense for a lot of people, because we have leads come in and then most of the time you have to wait to contact them, or they book their own appointment, they never hear from you, and then they have the call. They might show up for the call, they might not, and then they might purchase or not purchase, right? So if we were to build out our lead to sale funnel, you would have, okay, they get the contact details. Then you want to automatically send them a message within the first 5 minutes, because that increases the likelihood that that lead will purchase from you by 361%. 361% increased likelihood someone's going to buy from you if you contact them within the first 5 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know many coaches who are going to be able to get back to every single lead within the first 5 minutes. And it drops off significantly in terms of the likelihood they'll purchase from you if you don't contact them immediately. So we need automations in place. So someone comes into your funnel as a lead. They give you their contact details, or typically that's how it's going to work, but sometimes they might comment a word or they jump into your DMs and ask you something, whatever it is. So they've basically reached out, inquired, put their hand up, said, hey, I'm interested in a freebie you have or a program or whatever it is. Then from that process to the sale, we embed specific triggers, which means like specific reasons why someone would move through your funnel. So, for example, our lead to sale funnel on our website is you jump on the website. The first step of the opt-in is to put in your name, phone number, email, right? Then they would move into the second step. That would be like a trigger, moving from step 1 to step 2. Step 2 is our application form to get to know them a little bit more. And then if they move through that into step 3, it would be booking a call. But the thing is, not everyone does all those steps. And sometimes people get to one specific spot in the step. Typically, it's when the barrier to entry gets a little harder. So it could be filling the application form in, they might not have the answers, or I might feel like I can't do it in the next 5 minutes and I've got to go, to pick up my kids from school, whatever. Or it'll come to the booking page. And if you don't have these steps in your funnel and you're just hoping that someone is going to just book a call with you, then you're missing out on lead opportunities, because some people might see the booking and go, don't have my schedule, or none of those times work. So they never book in with you and you never get their contact details. So one of the first things that we get all of our students in our Biz Academy program to do is to set up at least a 3-step lead funnel, the first 3-step process, which is the opt-in, and then the application form, and then the booking a call. So even if they don't book in the call, we've still got their contact details. And then we have a funnel workflow. So behind this, where if they leave their contact details, but they don't fill out the application form, we send them an email that's like, hey, we saw that you sent your details and you're interested in this. You haven't yet completed the form. Just a reminder, here's the form. Please complete that now. Or maybe they put their details in and completed the form, but they haven't booked the call. You could send them a different email that says, hey, thanks so much for submitting your application form. We see that you haven't yet booked a call yet. Wondering if there was a time that worked better for you, or if you just needed the booking link, here it is again, right? So as a client or a consumer or someone who is on the receiving end of that, if I just got distracted or had something else going on and I got an email that was like, hey, just a reminder, like, don't forget to book your call, I'd be like, oh my God, thank you, so helpful. I don't have to find it again or go through the process or figure out where the link was. You're encouraging me and making it easier for me to move forward with working with you, or seeing what working with you could look like, right? Then in that lead to sale process, that's kind of like the basic. A lot of people will push through people through the funnel. A lot of people will, just try and get them to get on a call. But when they've booked the call, a lot of people then just send automated messages that say hey, don't forget calls coming up. This is when it is. Here's the link. That is beginner 101 level. We should all be doing that. Above and beyond that is, how do we get someone who's inquired with us to really know, like, and trust us at a deeper level, so that they understand the brand, the vision, the values that we have, how it works, what it looks like, what they could potentially get, maybe some additional pieces of value or content to really understand that person. So, for example, if I was to run a funnel workshop, then I could potentially have an email that's going out, or maybe they're signing up for that. I could have an email that goes out that says, hey, listen to this podcast, and it's going to explain to you in far more detail what's going to go on and certain things that could happen. That could be a really great way that I'm just adding more touch points and more value. I've done nothing. I'm still sitting at my sales seminar, learning about sales while this is happening for me. There is so much that can happen in terms of a funnel, in terms of these workflows. So email and SMS automations that we can plug in, and it provides an incredible experience for the client. Something to mention that I think that a lot of people feel a little bit hesitant about is they're like, oh, well, I don't want to message them too much or email them too much, or it clogs their inbox, or I would hate to receive that. I need you to stop for a second if that's you and you're thinking that, because it's not about you. It's about your client and your prospect. And if you were your client, would you want to know more about you as the person they're going to be working with, or about the system, or about how you actually do what you do, or about, the process that they're going to go through? You probably would. You'd probably love that. And if you're someone who doesn't like emails, there's an unsubscribe button for a reason, right? So just like unsubscribe, okay? One of my mentors once told me, I was like, like when you send emails and you're sending more of these types of emails, do you ever look at the unsubscribe rate? And she was like, no, never. I don't even care. Zero. She's like, you're looking at the wrong metrics because it doesn't matter how many people unsubscribes. It matters how many people purchase from you. It matters how many people you can serve. It matters how much value you give people. And so it's looking at something that's not relevant to your business. Of course, you want people to buy, but you also absolutely want people to opt out if they're not interested in working with you. And sometimes people just don't like emails, but they'll still follow you on social media and go buy from you later. And that's okay. It doesn't mean we reduce the frequency of us sending these workflows out or we stop sending these emails. It just means that some people don't like that, right? So allow them to consume content from you and get this in a way that they've decided. And if they decide they don't want emails, they will unsubscribe. Yeah. So better to give them more information than less. And I see so many coaches who are giving like zero information. It's just like, oh, here's my booking link, book a call, as opposed to like, but who are you? What do you do? Maybe I've only jumped on your website like, a week ago, even less, maybe like half an hour ago. I think if I was looking at that, I'd love to know a bit more about you, your process. And that's probably why I'm either reserved on a sales call, don't even book a sales call, or want more time to think about it. But if you could speed up that process from lead to sale, then that's going to benefit everyone. You get cash flow into your business. Awesome. You get to start helping someone. Awesome. They don't delay on their goals. Awesome. Yeah. So our lead to sale funnel is just one of the forever funnels. The other funnels are, well, number two is our onboarding funnel. Now, I know a lot of coaches have specific things that they do with onboarding, whether it's downloading or getting people logged into apps or getting people set up with payment systems or signing agreements or whatever that process is. What if you could click one button and it all got done for you? That is what a funnel can do. It can send out these reminders, these automations of the messages, and you can integrate it with certain systems like Zapier, which is like um, when two softwares don't speak nice to each other, Zapier is kind of like the middleman that helps connect them. And it can say like, if such and such moves here in the funnel, then send them this agreement or send them this payment link or whatever it needs to happen, right? There's so much in terms of capabilities for onboarding. And I know so many people spend, maybe it's only 10, 15 minutes per client that they onboard. But if you onboard like 100 clients a year, that's a lot of minutes. I'm not going to do the math, but that's a lot of minutes. So your onboarding funnel can also be automated, and that can also include and blends into our third funnel, which is our client journey funnel. So when clients are on board with you and they're working with you, and let's say that you have, specific 12-week programs, 1-year programs, whatever it is, and you know that in week 4, everyone finds it really hard to stick to what you've asked them to do and be consistent. What if you could send them like a nudge, text or email and be like, hey, most people are struggling in week 4 to be consistent. And I just wanted you to know that this is what's helped them. And you give them a golden nugget, or you redirect them to a section in your content, or remind them of something that they said in terms of like their goals at the start. Wouldn't that be cool if that could just be automatically sent out? What about if we did that with like referrals? What if we did that with reviews as well? And we could automate and say like, hey, you've probably had some great results. Maybe everyone gets really great results by week 6 on average. You send them a referral or a review link and says, hey, it would mean the world to us if you could leave a 2-minute review. And you just have that automated, set up, and you just get reviews on tap, on autopilot. You've done nothing except set this up one time. I think the biggest thing I'm trying to reinforce here is the power of not doing shit over and over and over again when it can be systemized or automated. Because for so long in my coaching business, I was like writing programs from scratch every single time as an exercise physiologist. And I would just start from scratch and then I was like, Zenia, just get a fucking template. And so I did that, and it just halved the amount of time that I could do that. And then niching more and niching more has allowed me to get really clear when I'm working with coaches in the health space on building their business. I know exactly what they want. I know when they need it. I know what part in the cycle, and can tap into those things and set up funnels so that we re-engage our current clients. We get them referring more people. And then when it comes to re-sign, they're like, oh, Zenny was amazing and she did all these things. Of course I'm going to resign. Yeah. Versus if you only had the touch points that you said you were going to have. So you're just doing what you said, which is the standard, the bare minimum, even though that if you said you were going to do a lot, you did a lot. It's still the standard. You're not creating a wow experience. And then the fourth funnel is our lead magnet funnel. So providing a piece of value, this could be like, let's say that you're trying to improve people's mobility, then it could be like an assessment or a testing screening form so they can test if they're like green, amber, or red in terms of like a traffic light system for their mobility. Or it could be a lead magnet in terms of you could just send them like a private podcast episode. You could send them literally anything as a lead magnet, something that's going to provide value to the clients. And then you can, over the next, let's say, couple of weeks, send them more value and sort of remind them, hey, like, have you seen this? Have you done this? Has this worked for you? Step 3 was the best part for me. And you're not having to create more content or more lead magnets, but you're getting people to come back to doing the thing. Because how many times have you downloaded something and then never opened it? Because I've done that a fuck ton. And sometimes it's because I'm looking at their funnels. Like I said, if anyone's listening to this and going, that sounds great, but Zenia, please fucking help me. I don't know how to do that myself. We do have a couple of spots only left in our live in-person workshop for our systems build out. So it's a 2-day lock-in. You're locked in a room, not literally, but kinda, with me and a really intimate group of other health coaches, and we are going to create those 4 funnels for you in person, and I'm going to check off on it myself, and I'm going to give you my tick of approval before you publish it and go live. We do this with email marketing and SMS software integrations that you will be able to set up once and have forever, and the power of that is huge. Imagine, like, what would you pay to have that set up in your business for the next, let's say, even just 10 years? Just running on autopilot. And then when you set up things like paid ads, it's just there, ready to go. And everyone goes through that process. It is so valuable. You'd only probably need like 1, maybe 2 clients to sign up for it to pay for the build out that we're doing. And then you actually have the skills to be able to do it yourself rather than having to lean on someone else and get them do it all the time and not be able to tweak like one little thing, which is awesome. This is a beta round, so I've never done this before, so I am offering it at a super, super reduced rate in exchange for some incredible testimonials when you get great results. So if you're interested in that, it is the 7th and 8th of March, 2025, if you're listening in real time or real-time-ish. Please DM me on Instagram, Zenia Wood Official, if you have questions or want to learn more about that. And I will hook you up with the deets if we've got spots left and can get you sorted. And if you're like, fuck, those days don't work for me, or, I want to do this, but in the future, still reach out because I'm likely going to be making this something that we provide and just implement and roll out into people's businesses virtually as well. So you don't have to live anywhere near Brisbane or be willing to travel there. We can work together and I can embed it into your business ecosystem for you. So if you're interested in that, then absolutely DM me on Instagram, Zenia Wood Official. And until next time, move swiftly. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.